Yeah, so for today, we will talk about kinematics, but specifically, we will learn about KLBP, gerak lurus berubah beraturan, or we simply call it uniform acceleration, and then we will talk or learn about gerak jatuh bebas, or GJB. We will call it free fall motion. Yeah, this should be simple enough for you to understand. Yeah, after you have understood about KLB last week, gerak lurus beraturan or uniform velocity. Okay, let's talk about uniform acceleration or KLBV first. Yeah. In our daily world, in the real world, any moving objects often change velocity. Yeah. So it is quite rare to observe an object moving in a constant velocity. Yeah. So physics observes this phenomenon as acceleration. Yeah, acceleration is defined as changes in velocity in an object moving in a linear motion. Yeah, because it is derived from velocity, acceleration is also a factor, yeah, denoted with a arrow. Yeah, a arrow is defined as delta v, yeah, changes in velocity relative to the changes over time. Yeah, delta v over delta t. Or when we observe the acceleration in a very small time frame, yeah, some people call it instantaneous acceleration. Yeah, it will become a derivative function. Yeah, the factor a is defined as dv2 over dt. Yeah, but for our purposes, we will use the simplest version of this formula. Yeah, let's just use a equals to v over t. Yeah, instead of using a derivative like this. Yeah, so these formula are very familiar. Yeah, should be familiar for you. Yeah, it is taught in high school, I think. Yeah, the relationship of acceleration to the velocity and displacement, or we can simply call it distance or position. Yeah. Okay, if given time t, we can calculate the current velocity, which equals to v. Yeah, v equals to v naught or v0 plus a times t. Yeah, v here is the current velocity, v naught is the initial velocity. Yeah, a is acceleration and t is time. Yeah, or sometimes you only are given the displacement or s or distance. Yeah, we can also calculate the current velocity. Yeah, v squared equals to v naught squared plus 2 times a times s. Yeah, but remember, because this is a squared v, yeah, after you have calculated this equation, then perform a square root, yeah. Okay, the next formula, if you are given time t, you can also calculate the current displacement or current position. Yeah, the current displacement or current position s equals to the initial location s naught plus the initial velocity times time v naught times t plus half of a t squared. Yeah, sometimes your high school teacher, yeah, may drop the s naught, so it will become s equals to v naught t plus half of a t squared. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, when it is assumed that we do not care about the position, yeah, only calculating the displacement or distance, then you can drop the s naught. Okay, so current velocity can also be calculated by simply adding the acceleration to current velocity periodically. Yeah, this is due to the this observation. Yeah, in a very small time frame, a can be observed as dv or over dt, or a equals to delta v over delta t. Yeah, so if you observe the acceleration for each frame, you can also add the acceleration to calculate current velocity. Yeah, like this. V equals plus equals to a. Okay, depending on the direction of both the velocity and acceleration, an object may move faster or slower. Yeah, this can confuse our common sense. Yeah, usually people says that if the acceleration is negative, does it mean the object is slowing down? Yeah, common sense usually dictates it is true. Yeah, but um, since we have already known the factor or direction, yeah, it is actually not always the case. Yeah, this sentence is only true if we regard the positive direction is as plus. Yeah. So usually if acceleration is negative, while our velocity is positive, usually it means that the object is slowing down. Yeah, but we will observe this further. Yeah, if acceleration works in the opposite direction as the velocity, yeah, the object will slow down. Yeah, however, if they are in the same direction, yeah, for example, the velocity is in the positive direction and acceleration is also in the positive direction as well, then our object will move faster or speeding up. Yeah, in the same manner, if our velocity is negative and the acceleration is negative also, then it means that the object will speed up. Yeah, so please remember which direction is positive. Yeah, if you can't remember this preposition, yeah, you can take a look at this illustration here. Yeah, just remember if the signs are opposite between the velocity and acceleration, then the object is slowing down. Yeah, here I have a car moving in a positive velocity, but uh, the negative acceleration is negative. Yeah, positive velocity here, for example, it moves positively right. So when the acceleration moves to the left side, it is negative. Yeah, this means that this car is slowing down. Yeah, in the same manner, if the velocity is negative, we are pointing to the left, but this car observes acceleration to the right, yeah, which means the acceleration is positive, then the car also slows down. Yeah, but if we have same signs for both for both acceleration and velocity, yeah, this means that the object is moving faster. Yeah, here in the first picture, yeah, it is observed that the velocity is moving to the positive direction and the acceleration is also moving in the positive direction as well, then this car is speeding up. Yeah, but if the velocity is pointing to the negative direction, which is left, and also the acceleration works into the negative direction as well, yeah, to the left also, then this car will also speeds up. Yeah, so there is the concept between or the relationship between velocity and acceleration. Yeah, what about deceleration? Yeah, deceleration happens in real life, so an object may slow down. Yeah, but in physics, we still refer to deceleration as acceleration as well. Yeah, but remember, depending on the direction of velocity and acceleration, yeah, we can't really sure if the negative acceleration is actually deceleration or not. Yeah, because we must take into account the direction of the velocity. Yeah, so for simplicity's sake, we will refer deceleration as acceleration also. Yeah, please remember this during your exercises and your exam. Yeah, when needed, I will provide the direction of the positive value. Okay, any questions to this point about the velocity and acceleration? Not yet, yeah. Okay, so let's try these exercises then. Yeah, number one, I have a car currently moving for 5 meter per second. Yeah, then it speeds up to 10 meter per second in 5 seconds. Yeah, let's assume that the car has a uniform acceleration. So how much distance has the car traveled during those 5 seconds? Okay, let's write down what we know so far. Yeah, for number one, yeah. Let's see. I have a currently moving car for 5 meter per second. Yeah, this denotes the initial velocity, which is v naught, 5 meter per second. And then it speeds up to 10 meter per second. This will become v 10 meter per second. Yeah, and then the car moves from 5 to 10 in 5 seconds. Yeah, the question is the distance. Yeah, simply called s. Okay, so from this information, what can you calculate first? Yeah, I will write down the formula for s. S equals to v naught t plus a half of a t squared. Yeah, if I plug in the values, I get 5 times 5 plus a half of, okay, we don't know the value of a yet. Can you calculate a? Yeah, let's calculate a first. Yeah, if you remember, a is the changes in velocity relative to time. So a equals to, let me write down the definition first. Delta v over delta t, which means, what is delta v here? 5. How do you get 5? Is it v naught or is it 5 seconds? Okay, let me give you an example first, yeah, about how to calculate delta v. Yeah, as I said before, delta v is a changes in velocity. Yeah, we have the current velocity is 10 meter per second, while the initial velocity is 5 meter per second. Yeah, so to calculate delta v, you can simply subtract. Oops. Okay, I see. We have divide the changes of velocity, yeah, which is equal to v minus v naught divided by t, which means 10 minus 5 over 5, which is 1. Yeah, the unit is meter per second squared, yeah, meter per second squared. Okay, so now that we know the value of our acceleration, just plug it in. Yeah, 5 times 5 plus a half times 1 times the time is 5 squared. It's equals to 25 and let's see, this is 25 divided by 2, then it makes 12.5, which equals to 37.5 meter. Okay, so any questions maybe for the first exercise, for the first problem? Not that, yeah. Yeah, I guess this is very simple for you. Yeah, it's still easy. Okay, number 2. A car moving for 72 kilometers per hour hits a brake, so it decelerates for 2 meters per second squared. Yeah, how much distance will the car travel until it stops? Okay, again, let's write down what we know so far for the question number 2. Okay, number 2. I have a car moving for 72 kph, yeah, which makes it a V naught, 72 kph, and then hits a brake, so it decelerates for 2 meter per second squared. Yeah, since it says decelerate, yeah, we can safely assume that the acceleration is negative 2 meter per second squared. Yeah, assuming the positive direction is to the right. Yes, in order for our car to be able to decelerate, so the value of A, the direction of our acceleration must be opposite to the velocity. Yeah, and then it is asked how much distance will the car travel until it stops. Yeah, so we are tasked to find out S. Yeah, let's write down the formula first. S is V naught T plus a half of A T squared. However, we don't have T here. Any ideas how to find the T? Yeah. Okay, we have another information, yeah, which is not very obvious here, until it stops. Yeah, that means we have another information here, V is 0. Excuse me. Yeah. If we have V equals to 0 meter per second and I have V naught, which is 72 kilometer per hour. Yeah, because the unit is not the same, let's convert this 72 kph to meter per second. How to do that? Yeah, to convert kph to 70, sorry, to convert kilometer per hour to meter per second, what should we do? Any ideas? Yeah. Okay, times 1,000. Oh, sorry. Divide by 3,600. Yeah, 1,000 is from kilometer to meter. Yeah, am I correct? Okay, and then our 3,600 is from hour to second. So this creates, if we solve this equation, 72 and 36 is 2, yeah? 2, I will cross the zeros, then it is 20 meter per second. Okay, now we have the information of V and V naught. And we have A, then we can calculate T. Yeah, let's write down the formula first. A is V minus V naught per t. Yeah, negative 2 is 20. Oh, sorry, not 20, 0, yeah. The v is 0. 0 minus the v naught is 20, then divided by t. Yeah, negative 2t equals to negative 20, then t equals to 10 seconds. Yeah, if you plug in everything correctly, you will get positive t. Yeah, if t is negative, then there is something wrong in your calculation. Yeah, for our purpose, t is never negative. Okay, we have t now. Let's plug in everything here. Oops, sorry. Okay, v naught is 20 times 10 plus half with the a is negative 2 and the time is 10 squared. This makes this 200. 2 and 2 is 1 minus 100, which calculates to 100 meter. Okay, is it clear enough for you? Any questions maybe? Not yet. Everything clear? Okay, nice. Yeah. So I think you can do the third one yourself. Huh? A truck moves as far as 40 meters in 8 seconds. Then it slows down until it moves for 4 meters per second. Yeah, calculate its initial velocity right before slowing down and its acceleration as well. Okay, how do you calculate the initial velocity for this case? Yeah, this one combines KLP and KLPP. Okay, let me illustrate or draw it for you for number 3. Okay, number 3, yeah. Let's say this particle is the truck. Yeah, it moves from here to here. This is 40 meters in only 8 seconds. Yeah, and then from here it slows down. Yeah, we don't really know the distance. Yeah, until it moves for 4 meter per second. Yeah, that means here at this point v equals to 4 meter per second. Yeah, the question is how much is the v naught and how much is the acceleration as well.